Om Shanti. Good morning. Diamond morning. Every Baba is teaching us. And all he wants us to do is to remember. Whilst remembrance is very slippery, we got to make some effort, the best effort, to make it accurate, to make it constant. But before that happens, we need to do the special effort of being soul conscious. Because if we are not soul conscious, this body and the things related to this body will pull us again and again away from remembrance of God. So let's listen to Baba's sweet versions of the 23rd of September 2023. In the essence, Baba says, sweet children, you have the accurate knowledge of souls and the Supreme Soul. Therefore, you have to issue the challenge that you are Shiv Shaktis. Question: what is the highest destination of all for which you children are making effort? Answer: to stay constantly in remembrance is the highest destination of all. It is only by having remembrance that your suffering of karma will be settled and you will reach your karmatit stage. Some children say to the mother and father from whom they receive limitless happiness, what do they say? Baba, we forget to remember you. This is a wonder. If you make effort continuously to remain soul conscious, you cannot forget remembrance. And the song of Baba's word. Who created this play and hid himself away?
किसने ये सब खेल रचाया, किसने ये सब साथ सजाया, अपने आप सभी कुछ करके अपना आप छिपाया, अपना आप छिपाया, किसने कोमल कोमल प्यारे पौधे.
Om Shanti. God speaks. You children know your Father God. You children have now been made theists from the Father. You have come to know the Father by the Father. And this is why you're called theists. You know that you really are souls, and that He is the Father of you souls. Although people consider themselves to be souls, no one knows the Supreme Soul. Only when the Father Himself comes and creates the children and gives them His introduction, can they know Him. The Father Himself has to give His own introduction. He is the Father of all souls. He comes here personally in front of you and says, you are souls, and I am the Supreme Father of you souls. you have this faith. This is something common. There is definitely the Father of souls. It is sung that souls and the Supreme Soul remain separated for a long time. Only you children know the Father. Once again, after 5,000 years, the Father has come. When all the children have become atheists and sorrowful, and not a single soul remains a theist, the Father comes. He makes you into theists and then hides away. Then no one knows the Father. You children now have faith number-wise, according to the effort you make. Not all of you have full faith. Although you may be sitting here personally, and you do know that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, the Purifier, is making you into pure deities from impure beings. There are just the images of the deities here. They're not here themselves. No human beings apart from you Brahmins knows about the soul and the Supreme Soul. When souls say that they are the Supreme Soul, they neither know about souls nor the Supreme Soul. You children know that not a single human being considers himself to be a soul, and God to be his Father accurately. However, who would issue this challenge? It was you, Shaktis, who issued this challenge. But you still haven't taken the power you should have taken. Shiv Shaktis are very well known. Jagadamba is also a Shakti. All the religious heads now come to conferences, and you have to explain to them too. The Father explains, children, you have to become soul conscious. Your souls. And you're explaining your souls, and you are claiming your inheritance from the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. For as long as you don't have this faith and have doubts, you wouldn't be able to claim a high status. Even good children experience storms of Maya whilst moving along and fall. From having faithful intellects, they become those who have doubts in their intellects. Otherwise, children would never have doubt in their intellects about whether someone is their father. Yeah, this is a wonder. They say that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is the Father of all of us souls. He is teaching us, and yet we forget the Father. He continues to explain every day. And what he continues to explain every day? Children, remember your Father, and your sins will be absolved. You have a lot of sins of many births on your head. You know that Mama and Baba, who are called Saraswati and Brahma, are number one. They themselves say, we have so much yoga and make so much effort, and yet our sins of many births have not been cut away. There is one suffering or another to be settled. At the end, You will reach your karmatit stage and become free from this suffering. You have to make effort. Maya too is no less powerful. Both are almighty authorities. Maya Ravan has made all human beings impure. They sing, "O purified." They continue to clap. So they are surely impure. But they don't consider themselves to be impure. You definitely have to explain that this world is now impure. The golden age is called a pure world. You will not call out to the purifier in this way in the pure world. There, when there was just the one religion, Bharat was very happy. You now know that the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is the ocean of knowledge, and that he knows all the secrets of the Vedas and the scriptures, etc. He himself is teaching us, but some of you are such that they forget that the Supreme Soul is teaching them, that the unlimited Father is teaching them. That intoxication doesn't rise. When you leave here and go home, that intoxication is completely crushed. It is with difficulty that anyone makes accurate effort. Maya is very powerful. Body consciousness is number one. Baba has explained what he has explained. Consider yourselves to be souls. Consider yourselves to be souls. We are souls, and we act through these bodies. You must never consider yourself to be the Supreme Soul. The Father says, I have come to make you pure from impure. Repeatedly remember me. However, many very good children don't remember the Father, and they don't even tell the truth. The chart they write and send to Baba also has lies. They don't write honest charts. Baba says, consider yourselves to be souls. We souls have completed our 84 births and are now going to Baba. Wake up early in the morning and remember Baba. And that intoxication will then remain throughout the day. When people earn money, they have the intoxication of how much they earned that day. This too is a business. And so you should make so much effort in this. Baba tells you his own experience of how much effort he makes. You have to wake up early in the morning and talk to yourself. What it is we have to say to ourselves. Our paths have now ended, and we are about to go back and then rule the kingdom for 21 births. Baba is so sweet, so lovely, and so wonderful. No human being knows such a Father. The Father comes and makes you children even higher than himself. And yet some children then say that the Father is omnipresent and bring him down even further than themselves. This is why the Father says, you have become very unhappy. I make you children into the masters of Brahma and the world. And then you say that I, your Father, am omnipresent. This is also a play within the drama. The Father is now giving you directions on how to explain. Lakshmi and Narayan, the first deities, had 100% solvent intellects, that is pure intellects. But they're not like that anymore. Look how much difference there is. At first, Bharat was heaven, and now it is hell. No human being has this knowledge. You children do not have strength. There is a lot of body consciousness. Those who are soul conscious would imbibe this. The Father gives you directions. Challenge them in this way. No one knows what a soul is or what the Supreme Soul is. You know that we souls are points and that our Father, the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, is also a point. He is knowledgeful and the purifier. He doesn't enter the cycle of birth and death. We souls enter the cycle of birth and death. The Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul says, I too have a part. I come and make all of you happy. And I then go and sit in the land of Nirvana. When people become old, they retire, but they don't understand the meaning of that. To retire means to go to the land beyond sound. They don't sit beyond sound. Now all are in the stage of retirement. We souls reside beyond sound. But people don't know about that place. Amounts you to only some of you have these things in your intellects. There is a lot of body consciousness. You don't follow the Father. Maya is also very powerful. No one knows about the relationship between souls and the Supreme Soul. They don't know about the relationship with the Father. You repeatedly forget. After belonging to the Father, you have to remember Him fully. You say, Baba, I repeatedly forget to remember you. So what will Baba say? If we say to Baba, Baba, I repeatedly forget to remember you. Baba would say, oh, you forget to remember the mother and father. The destination is to stay constantly in remembrance. You forget the mother and father from whom you are claiming your inheritance of heaven. It is a wonder. The mother and father are only the one. The Father says, I alone am your mother and father. These are very deep things. Some think that Jagadamba is the mother, but no, she is a corporeal being. You used to sing to the incorporeal one. You are the mother and father. Baba didn't tell you all of these things in the beginning. Day by day, you're told deep things. If you are unable to explain something, then tell them Baba hasn't yet explain these things to us. And so we will ask him. Day by day, you receive many new points. Knowledge is vast. Those who are to understand will understand. Some become tired whilst studying. They write to Baba. I am unable to continue here. I am fed up. They get fed up and stop studying. When they indulge in vice, they stop studying. This study can only take place in celibacy. If you break your celibacy, you're not able to imbibe anything. You wouldn't be able to tell others that lust is the greatest enemy. The intellect becomes locked. The destination is very high. Sannyasis leave their household religion and run away. They are hot yogis, sannyasis, whereas this is Raja Yoga. The Father alone comes and teaches you Raja Yoga. Hatha yogis can never teach Raja Yoga. You haven't yet learned the art of how to explain this fully. Theirs is Hatha Yoga, renunciation. They cannot make impure ones pure. Yours is unlimited renunciation, whereas theirs is limited renunciation. It is in your intellect that your 84 births have now ended, and that you now have to return home. You have this unlimited renunciation in your intellects. Theirs is Hatha Yoga, renunciation of karma. Yours is Raja Yoga and Karma Yoga. And God is teaching you this. You can now explain very well that that is Hatha Yoga and that this is Raja Yoga. No one understands about Shiva. Just as the soul is a point, so Shiva too is a point. The sign of the point is put on the forehead. The point would not be applied anywhere else. The point in brackets tilak is only put on the forehead. That is where each soul resides. But no one knows this. Such a tiny soul has an imperishable part of 84 births fixed within him. These are such deep matters. No one else would know how to explain these things. You have to explain the reality. Just as each soul is a point, so the Supreme Soul is also a point. If another soul enters a body, he would come and sit next to that one. When a departed soul is invoked into a Brahmin priest, that soul comes and says, I have taken birth at such and such a place. So, where would that soul come and sit? Would it sit in his head? He, the Brahmin priest that is, already has his own soul. The Father says, I too am a point. I am called the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul. His praise is great. Who sang the praise? Salutations to Shiva. Souls, the saligrams. So, Surely souls are suffering. The world doesn't know these things. You know that he only has one name, Shiva. You would say to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, salutations to the deity Brahma, salutations to the deity Vishnu, whereas to him, you would say, salutations to the Supreme Soul Shiva. Therefore, Shiva is higher. You can understand these things. It is now that you have this knowledge. This birth of yours is as valuable as a diamond. Deities simply experience their reward. That Father also gives you the reward. That Father who also gives you the reward is wonderful. You should have so much regard for the Father from beyond. Your intellect's yoga should not be connected to Brahma, but to that one. The Father is teaching you through this one. He has taken this body alone. He is such a great guest of the whole world. Baba comes from the supreme abode. He is such an important guest of Bharat. Where has he come from? They honor those ministers, etc., so much. Such an important guest has come in an incognito form to make impure ones pure. Acha, okay. To the sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children. Love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bhagdana. The spiritual father says, Namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children say, Namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dharma. Points to practice for today. First one, wake up early in the morning, sit in remembrance, and accumulate an income. Talk to yourself. Remain soul conscious. Second one, study and teach others Raja Yoga and Karma Yoga. Never get fed up and thereby stop studying. Definitely have regard for the Father. Have His blessing for today. May you be a master world benefactor with an unlimited attitude, the same as the Father's. To have an unlimited attitude means to have an attitude of benevolence for all souls. This is being a master world benefactor. Let your attitude of benevolence not be just for yourself or the limited number of souls for whom you are an instrument, but for everyone. Those who happily progress with contentment in their attainments are self-benefactors. However, Those who have an unlimited attitude and remain busy doing unlimited service and are said to be master world benefactors, the same as the Father. So those who have an unlimited attitude and remain busy doing service are said to be master world benefactors, the same as the Father. Our slogan for today: those who remain in equanimity, in praise and affirmation, insult and respect, benefit and loss, are said to be yogi souls. Those who remain in equanimity, in praise and affirmation, insult and respect, benefit and loss, are said to be yogi souls. Om Shanti. The Father has given us a lot of sustenance through the Murli, and we are to take what He's saying, inculcate it, and become. Especially emphasizing today, be soul conscious and have accurate remembrance. And He's saying why? Because the destination is very high. And of course, if the destination is high, the efforts need to be high, and the reward will also be very high. Om Shanti. So let's do have a very powerful day in Baba's remembrance.